So when I try to make calls, I gotta try to do it through that mess. Restricted, 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 restricted. That's once I finally got through. Although it wasn't working when we did apparently connect, because I apparently picked up a restricted call instead of star because they were calling at the same time. Or something, I don't know. I just know she couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear her. Now, pretty much everything below that is restricted. That's going back to 5:35, and it's 6 o'clock p.m. now. Here's a bunch more from 5:35. All at 5:35. Just keep on hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And there's almost another half screen worth of it until you get back to 5:34. That's like, well, there's a bunch more scrolling down. There's probably close to 100 of them. I mean, there's more than 100 because here's like 15 of them from 5:21 or 5:22. Here's some from 5:21, 5:20 p.m., a bunch of them from 5:20 p.m., 5:19 p.m. I mean, holy hell. It's a lot. So right now, I am not getting harassed by a restricted color, thank goodness, because that makes it difficult to even open up my phone. I'm trying to open up my phone, and I got this person calling me 20 times a minute. Now, this is from a website you can go to, apparently. If you don't like somebody, you can have them perpetually harassed. And apparently there's a few of these, and this is all stuff that I get to learn about because Natalie Bollinger was killed. And all the things that police thought they would get away with because they assumed my guilt. They lied to me over and over and over and over again, and people keep telling me, go to the police? Are you shitting me? They keep lying to me. That's why I need somebody to go in there with me to verify that they fucking lied. On the bright side, I did save a lot of evidence. A lot of it. Recordings with people who were shunned or mistreated, or the police that they were trying to turn the crimes into were busy slandering my name instead of taking their report, making every excuse not to take them. You're damn right I'm going to speak out. Who wouldn't? I believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Most people are cowards, and I know that. When I was a kid, it was pretty much just me. For a lot of people, the only person they ever had who stood up to the bullies and helped put a stop to it was me. Not often that somebody ever did that for me, but when people did, I was grateful. When somebody doesn't want to be your friend anymore, don't go running around slandering their name. That's the wrong thing to do. You can get someone hurt or killed doing that. Now, you take a look at what I said about Natalie Bollinger before she died. I told the truth, didn't I? Where's the slander that I was spreading? I want to see the slander. Where is this supposed slander? Was she on heroin? Yeah. Coroner's report said so. A lethal amount of heroin. Of course, she probably had quite a tolerance. I have to worry about actual monsters like Ted Bollinger and the rest of Natalie's family who hide behind a God they don't even believe in. Pretend everything that they did to others is all okay. That we should just forget about it. That we should just forget there are still people who are victimized every single day because of the decisions that they made. The slander that they spoke. And the fact that when you're homeless, police, they just want, well, good ratings. You don't get good ratings from homeless people. Not unless you're arresting them. Then the public likes you. If you're harming the homeless, God, the public loves the shit out of you. The fact is, Natalie's real predators, the people who actually did these things to her. It was her own family. She didn't want to believe that people were harming me over her slander. Her slander. That's the problem with addicts, and that's the problem with getting help from so many people that are addicts. I gotta say, help with them quotey bunny ears. Fucking addicts. I mean, how much help do you really think they're gonna be? Doesn't matter if you're addicted to alcohol. Hell, I'm addicted to caffeine. I know it affects me. I'm addicted to sugar. I know it affects me. I'm a bit different kind of fellow, though. I don't want to deal with people any more than I have. I want to help people, but I don't want them to hurt me. This is my go bag. Water sack right here, 3 liters. This is my ghillie suit and cover. This is, it's supposed to be an ammo belt, but I don't have any ammunition in it. I got pens and writing utensils, just because I always find them necessary. God, see, every time I need to write something down, I got to remember these are here. I did have a pen right on the table here so that I could use it whenever I needed it. I got the grenade launcher sight, although I don't own a grenade launcher. Isn't that peculiar? It can be used for a lot of different stuff. I have, let's see, in this pocket, I have a camo net. I went through some of my boxes and pulled out the important stuff. Camo net. It's 2-inch by 2-inch squares, so it's got a lot of room. I also have This is a emergency signal light. This is an emergency whistle. And of course, if we close it up, these are wooden toggles. They're not the easiest to maneuver, I know, but they're quiet. That's why they're so important. They are quiet. And right here is 2 camo bandanas, slightly different type of camo. There's a bag. It's got a few more of these in it somewhere. I don't know where exactly though. For the most part, it's green, and for this time of year, green isn't exactly the best color to be using. But that's okay. The stuff that I got, it's basically for year-round. This stuff being a green instead of a brown is not the best color. Brown is really one of the best colors of camouflage you can get. It's difficult to get away from the color brown, actually, and it helps to tone things. Here's the, I guess they call it mummy wrap. That's for wrapping up anything that's a little bit too shiny or something that's too much of a contrast in color. That helps to break it up a bit. For a lot of people, their idea of fighting back is to go shoot a bunch of people. I'm not interested in shooting anybody. I'm interested in getting away from people. But I get tortured for that too. You know, I tried to be a contributor to your society in the most positive ways that I could, to help out the people that I saw that were enduring the most horrible abuse. Over by Colfax, Denver, Colorado. Colfax is a scary place. That's right, here's some gloves. There's 2 of them in there. They just got furry stuff on the outside to kind of break up the outline. The idea is not to get seen. The idea is to get away. Why am I going to fight for these people? Seriously. Why would I pick up a gun and go shoot at people for a bunch of people who aren't doing anything right now to make a difference? See, if you stand up right now and you do something, then things can be done without violence, without bloodshed, without killing. But the people have to get involved. We don't live on a planet of one. We're all stuck here on this rock together. Now, if you guys want to listen to propaganda on the news and assume that they're always right, or that they're always telling the truth, or the police must be right because they're the police, or like there's no such thing as corruption because nobody would ever do such a terrible thing. Man, people do terrible stuff every day. A lot of people, they go so far as to say, well, at least I'm not killing anybody. Well, that much is true. Thank you for not killing anybody. What about the lives that you destroyed? The things that those people have to go through to this day? A lot of addicts don't think that they should have to make amends for things like that. Like, you know, now that they're in recovery, it should be okay that they got into a car accident while drinking and driving, and now some poor dude is paralyzed for the rest of his life. But it shouldn't be their problem because they're in recovery now. They're an alcoholic. They acknowledge they have a disease and they're trying to get help. But are they really trying to get help, or are they just making a show of it? If they're showing no remorse for the things that they've done, Well, that presents a pretty big problem for all of us. I have remorse for everything that I've done, even the stuff that I was forced to do. I feel bad for things that other people did because they had assumptions. I feel bad because there are people out there who thought that doing mean things to each other was going to help my situation. No, it doesn't. And I told people, hey, don't do illegal things for me. If something illegal has to be done, I'll be the one to do it. I don't want you guys getting in trouble because of me, or because you're friends with me, or because you helped me. A lot of people don't get that when they offer help. That there's a lot of roadblocks. The term mentally ill is disgusting. They expect me to be able to take care of myself. Being mentally ill, I'm supposed to be able to take care of myself. How are they friggin' go and buy all this stuff? I mean, seriously. They literally made it so that a disabled person cannot defend themselves. All they can do is take the abuse. That is literally all they can do. Oh, I don't know how to explain to you how screwed up that is. Right here is my Achilles too. Oh, all right. This here is my scarf. Uh, man, it's right here. Just goes over the top of you. Just kind of helps to break up the outline, like I said. But it's pretty thin material. It's pretty lightweight, so it's something that I can have a restricted number in. I got it on silent, but it still turns on the light when they call. That makes it suck too, because if I get an important phone call, I mean, how am I supposed to, you know, life is grand with your head in the sand unless you're afraid of the dark, and I've got a plan to start an Iron Man with me instead of Tony Stark. By the way, that's just a short little poem or nursery rhyme, whatever, if you're into that sort of thing. It's not some wingnut nut job stuff where I think that I'm actually Iron Man. A lot of people just can't quite make that distinction. They can't quite understand. I wonder if I can actually squeeze this up small enough to fit it in my rucksack. It'd be great. Not my rucksack, but that ammo belt thing. No, it doesn't look like it. Nope. That's right, though. Now I know Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. I'm not sure how many of y'all were alive in the 80s when we had G.I. Joe. That was a little bit different cartoon than they got now. So is Thundercats. I wonder if they'll ever do a remake of Thundercats. Maybe they have already. I don't know. I don't watch TV. I get a pretty good understanding of the world around me just by people's reactions. The reactions doesn't tell me what is actually going on in the world. It tells me how people respond to the input. Are they believing one side more than another? It's a matter of patterns. Right now, we see the hate mongers who have been bullying and picking on everyone for the last 4 years. And we see this whole government thing where cops just let those people in. Senators opened up doors to let those people in. Isn't that weird? Like for the last 4 years, those people have been bullying everyone and saying, ha ha, not your president, it is your president. And what are they posting up? Not my president. Yeah, you're sore losers. But that's the name of the game. It is just a game. None of us are winning. Everybody in America should be standing up like that. Not the hate mongers, but all of us. We just need to stand up like that for each other. You don't have to go stand up for neo-Nazis. You don't have to go stand up for Donald Trump or the Trumptafarians. Trust fundians, whatever. You should be doing it for your own kids. You should be doing it for your own families, for your own future, regardless of the color of the other people who are speaking. Their skin color does not determine the right or wrong of any situation. Neither does yours. You aren't automatically right just because you're white. You're not automatically not racist just because you're black. That's just not how it is. That's how it is in your own head, and that's what shows you guys are the ones who are delusional. You're delusional to believe that by cutting out other victims and blaming those other victims, that you're going to change anything in the world of politics. Not at all. You're not doing squat. Asking nicely is not getting anything done. Now we have the technology with the body cameras, and that is perfect. But I need help. See, these guys do everything that they can to separate their victims from their help. This whole situation with Star, that was all from a lot of wrongdoing by my predators. Star is not one of my predators. And it's actually a few of my predators. She's actually gotten to be there for a few situations, so she's a little bit more aware of what the mentally ill treatment is than most of you. When people tried to call the cops and tell the cops what was going on over the phone, the cops were telling them that they couldn't do anything about it or that I had to call them. I'm like, yeah, I know I got to call them. I have called them. They blow me off. They're going to blow me off unless someone goes in with me. You need to understand that. That is the only way to get something done. All right. Restricted. Another restricted. There's another restricted. They hang up and then dial back. There's another one. They're just hanging up and down again and hanging up and down again and hanging up and down again and hanging up and down again. Enough to drive a guy to drinking, huh? I noticed most of these people that offered to help turned out that they were cowards. And for most of them, I know why. Their traumas and their turmoils, their trials and tribulations, their failures and their fears. I understand that I'm not the only person who's afraid. But I seem to be one of the only ones who's not too afraid to speak up, despite the fact that I don't fit your demographic of what's okay and what's not. It's okay for others to do these things to me because of the color of my skin. That is crazy. That is crazy talk. I don't go treating other people like they're bad people just because of the color of their skin. I don't care what color of skin you are. I care if you treat other people like they're human beings. It's not too complicated. It's not. Now, if you have to do extreme shit to defend your life and defend your family, I understand that completely. But understand also, if you can, I want you to imagine that Sean Schwartz doesn't like killing. Sean Schwartz is going to find another way. When you remove killing as an option, you start, well, coming up with real options. Any plan that starts with killing is a bad plan. Any plan involving killing is a bad plan. Doctors take the Hippocratic Oath. It's actually the hypocritical oath now. How can you trust doctors? How can you? One lady I know, her name is Amanda, told the doctor that her foot was broken. The doctor looked at it and said, "No, it's not." Well, it turns out it was broken, and she walked on it for 3 weeks. She got kids. She can't just stop. Well, it didn't set necessarily the way that it was supposed to. But what she got all the money laying around to take him in for malpractice. No, that's not happening. So for kids or special needs kids, that's expensive. A lot of times the government will pick up the tab on your child care as long as you take them to a state-run facility. What do I mean by pick up the tab? I mean, if you have a child who's autistic and they are in a special school or in child care, for just for the child care part, $27 an hour. That's what it was 4 years ago. And what it is right now. But if the parent goes and gets a minimum wage job, then the government daycares will take a portion of your money to have your kid taken there. Now, you got to be in one of like 11 cities in the United States to have access to that to begin with. 11. 11. How many autistic people live just in Chapel, Nebraska? I'd venture to say over a dozen. Now, there's A lady I used to know named Aubrey the Poet Anderson. And she's somebody who I give a different name when I see her. What does this have to do with anything? Well, Aubrey is somebody who, when I tell her story, I do try to keep it so that she is protected. And her handle is not her real name. It's just what she goes by, her pen name, I guess. But most people I don't do that with. When I put this together, now it's got an ammo belt. There's not a single round of ammunition in it. People who are autistic, for the most part, we just want to get away from you guys. You're fucking crazy. And you think that we're the crazy ones, and you spend all this time making excuses why it's okay to treat us like we're crazy. But really, what's crazy is to treat human beings like this and expect them to be fine with it. When obviously, if anything, even close to being remotely close to being like this, you guys flip your shit, you flip your lids, you cannot handle it. You're fine with dishing it out, but you cannot handle it. If you can't handle it, you shouldn't have gotten involved to begin with. I get it. You'll do a lot of stuff for your girlfriend. She lives in the same house as you. She helps pay some of the bills, and you get sex out of her. I mean, I can't fault you. According to you guys, I can't fault you for that, for wanting sex. I don't fault you for wanting sex. I fault you for letting people who are innocent fall by the wayside because getting laid is more important than telling the truth. Oh, I'm gonna. Now, right now, you're trying to keep a woman who treats you completely like crap. And yeah, dude, she's gonna be gone in a week or less. Seriously. I know the lady. I'm not kidding you. Let her go. Well, just because I know people. Some people are like that. Some people, they had an opportunity and a chance to help me out how I needed right after Natalie died. That's when I needed their help. That is when I needed them to speak out the most, anyway. Now I need them to speak out even more. But they got to admit that they're not perfect, and that's a damper on everybody's pride. Mm. Oh my God. All right, coffee's brewing in the microwave. I don't want to deal with human beings any more than I have to. For the most part, they're just mean. When people are mean to you because you're little, you usually go out and find somebody else to be mean to because they're little. Socks. If you want to help out homeless people, get socks. They're called freshies. fresh socks. I roll them up into balls so that I can take them with me. They're useful not just as socks. You can use these for making coffee, although don't use one that you've used as a sock to brew your coffee in. The coffee will catch the flavor of your sock. Yeah. These ones are supposed to be long lasting. And they're supposed to wick the moisture off of your foot, which is pretty cool. And it kind of looks like a smiling monkey face. Put a couple eyeballs right there. Act smart, be smart typed hello. Hello, act smart, be smart. Can you hear me? A lot of the stuff that I have to deal with is, let's see, came from Rob Gavigan. Yeah. All right. Well, act smart, be smart. I'm not a Rob Gavigan fan. I am thankful for what he and Brady Blair, or whatever her name is, were trying to do, I guess. But, right after they posted that, I already knew that something had been posted of that sort. Because people were threatening to kill me, and they've continued again. I mean, every time Alicia Bollinger goes missing, even though I haven't been involved with any of her disappearances, every time she goes missing, people start threatening to kill me. Well, what fun. Oh, yeah, that one doesn't work. That one does. The route that I've been taking, it's been ongoing, and it's not like I'm trying to hide it from people. When I talk about these things that continue to happen, no, I'm not picking that up and making a video every time I get 100 restricted phone calls in a row. I'm not going to make a video for every single one of those restricted numbers. I'm just not going to do it. At the same time, people like Rob Gavigan, and of course there's Sword and Scale with Mike Boudet. Those guys did some pretty immoral stuff. Mike Boudet especially, not necessarily Rob Gavigan. I mean, yeah, it was immoral, but it's not like immoral on a totally trying to get me hurt level like it was with Mike Boudet. Mike Boudet is a hate monger. That's what he was after, and he did a great job. That's that restricted number just still calling me. I don't mind making quite a few mentions if they're still harassing me while I'm making videos. Yeah, I'll say something. But the cops and the courts, they pretend this stuff isn't happening, or like I haven't tried to turn it in. Now you've gotten to hear what Star Mahia had to say. Yeah, this shit is actually happening. She got to meet people that, well, are part of the story, and hear at least in part their side. Some of my loved ones are scared shitless. For most of them, it's their living situation, and They're having their kids taken away. A lot of folks are like, oh, well, you know, if you don't do anything wrong, they don't take your kids away. Are you sure about that? If you're broke, you're doing something wrong, apparently. If you can't afford $27 an hour for childcare, it's your burger flipping job. And people are like, well, you should just get a better job. You should just go to college. Oh my God. Was it really that simple for you? I want to know. Uh, More restriction number. Socks are important. They really are. See, homeless people are easy to victimize, and they don't get the creature comforts of home or family or the sense of protection or safety that you get from having that roof over your head. They don't have that. If a cop has a bad day, he's not going to come to your house, knock on your door, and take it out on you. Well, he might. He might. But he's more likely to go out and take it out on a homeless person. And you just have to take it. They can come out there and make fun of you and your dead friends, and you can't say nothing back, or they're going to charge you with use of fighting words. Somebody ought to charge them with use of fighting words, though, shouldn't they? It's okay for them to do it to us, but we can't do it back. It's okay for people to antagonize us, but we're not allowed to defend ourselves. When somebody is punching us in the face over something that we didn't do, we shouldn't be allowed to say, hey, knock it off. What about if it's groups of people doing this? You want to pretend that I'm paranoid, like I'm schizophrenic because, oh, nobody would ever do a thing like that. No, they did. And the media made a big fucking frenzy out of it. It was great for their ratings. Now, admitting that they screwed up, you'd think that would be great for their ratings. News stations admit they screwed up, say they're sorry, but that leaves them open to legal liability. That's the issue right there, bud. Legal liability. Who is to blame? Who do we get to take it out on? If the media has just one hint of, God, we screwed up, people want to sue the shit out of them. Well, that's how you end up not getting responsible news. You got to give people the fact that they will screw up. They're going to screw up. They're going to make mistakes. Making a mistake doesn't make you a bad person. Trying to hide it does. I don't try to hide who I am. I don't try to hide my face. When I made profiles to try to destroy my Facebook before ending my life, people that I talked to on that, I still let them know exactly who I was. I didn't hide my name. I didn't hide my face. I let them know I was Sean David Schwartz and why I was getting a hold of them. See that Michelle Brannick profile? The videos that I made, I didn't hide my face. That was my face in those videos. And I think there was only 2 or 3 of them. But in that video, I was trying to destroy my own Facebook before killing myself. And well, that didn't get to happen. So here I am today, still breathing. Natalie's not, but I am. I would I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say I would have much rather have her be able to see her loved ones and have her loved ones see her, but then I remember who her loved ones are. I know why Natalie wanted to die. I support her decision to do so. I think with the family that she got, there's restricted numbers still calling. Thanks, Jamie Curtis. You're welcome. Holy hell. Hopefully, Star will be here soon. She'll be able to help me go through some of this. There's a lot to go through. So for now, I'm just going to find a couple empty pockets here to shove some socks into. In case of emergencies and all of that. And I guess I will wish you all the best. I suppose rolling it up this way isn't going to fit in it that way. I have to do it like this and shove it down. It's alright, they're just socks. There's a lot of stuff that I need to do, but most of it I need help with. People who came down to help me with those things, well, we all know life is what happens while you're busy making plans. So we're about $2,000 in the hole, giving it to my predators, of course, since Star showed up to try to help me. And we haven't gotten a squat done. We spent one full day driving around all over the place in western Nebraska, hundreds of miles in between these places, after Star had driven over 24 hours to try to get to me. It's not that people didn't want to help. It's not that they didn't try to help. It's that they didn't understand. And the police didn't care. They were too busy covering for their own. Thank goodness for a few of those officers, but most of them were complete trash. Most of them never had any business with a badge. Most of them have no respect for human life. When you're disabled, people make fun of you for your disabilities. What about if they got a badge? Does that make it okay? Is it okay for somebody with a badge to make fun of you or to harm you for being disabled? Is that okay? Meanwhile, all of these predators got to do things where I wasn't even allowed to be present to defend myself ever. And that's all I wanted because I was being harmed, and that harm has not stopped. It's not like it magically ended just because Natalie's killer was found. No, these people were making my life hell before Natalie was killed. Doesn't anybody ever bother to ask, well, what was she doing to make your life hell? What were they doing to make your life hell? Well, I've been telling you, and I've been showing you. It's on my channel here. But people don't want to see that. They don't want to hear that. The only ones who really pay attention are the ones who really hate me and want to pretend like I'm some sort of a monster and they're hell bent on taking me down from their armchair detective seat. People are strange. I think I got some fishing hooks. Do they're going in here too? Just because, in case of an emergency, you might be on the run and not have time to set up a fish trap or anything of that nature. Let's see what we got in here. This is my go bag, of course. It's small. It's about the size of a purse. But see. Got a pair of socks in there, of course. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a few more pairs in there. I got my flint fire starter, my compass, thermometer. This is another whistle, of course. Flashlight. Ping pong balls. Actually, I grabbed those just because they were part of my emergency kit stuff when I left. And I'm just trying to get the hell out of chapel to somewhere safe. The thing is that there's really not anywhere safe unless there's somebody there with me. Somebody who can actually invest that time and take that time. And it's not like they'll have to do it for the rest of my life or for the rest of theirs. But the thing is, I'll never be heard unless other people speak up. And me posting here on YouTube is not good enough. It's not. It has to be shown in court. It has to be allowed in court. People want to get all offended because of how I have acted over extreme abuse. Look at how many times that I went in there where I was the most well-behaved person in the room and they did nothing. Or they bullshitted me or tried to pacify me with a friggin' sandwich. That's just stupid. In my opinion. But also the cops want to put on this face like they're actually doing something. Meanwhile, they know that I've been trying to turn them in for 3 years now. Scott Costa and his department. Scott Costa just short of 3 years because he actually got on late. He didn't join the BS until after Natalie was already dead. But by then, I'd already been dealing with his officers. And now that he has all of those officers off of the department and let them go on without any consequence, that helps to allow them access to more victims and allows Scott to get away so he can have access to more victims. And of course, they get to use their badge to do that. Well, my coffee is beeping at me. Restricted number is still calling. Oh, they stopped. This is, see, now. Oh. There's all these obstructions. And it doesn't matter how much evidence I have if nobody is going to look at it, if nobody cares, if evidence is allowed to be destroyed or stolen by police officers. That's the messed up part. Me trying to get copies so that if the police try to do something shady, I've got proof. But what about the evidence that I have to get a lawyer to gain access to? And there's only a very restricted amount of time, and I don't have the fucking ability to fucking take care of myself, let alone defend myself against these people. That's what you guys aren't understanding, is that this has been a full assault on every aspect of my life. It's the difference between somebody saying, let it go, and you're talking about being molested 20 years ago. Somebody saying, let it go, when you're chained in a basement being raped by somebody every single day, and you are still chained in the basement. Just let it go. Yeah, go ahead and tell me a story from the Bible. I want to hear it. No, fuck, I don't. I read the book. I know what it says. I don't need your misguided interpretations, your BS or your hatred. Here we go. More restricted call. Lovely. See how many we've got just since we got on the phone here. Let's see. It's 6:54 now. Oh my God. That is a lot. 6:53. 6:53. 6:53. 6:53. 6:52. 6:52. 6:52. 6:51. 6:50. A bunch of them from 6:50. 6:44. 6:43. 6:42. Damn. Isn't that swell of these people? Of course, it's pretty easy to pretend I'm a bad guy, isn't it? I didn't hide my name from Natalie Bollinger or Alicia Bollinger or Maddie Boa or from the media or from you. I didn't hide who I was. I said who I was and I stated my purpose. And it was under extreme situations. That's something that most of y'all just don't care about. You don't care about the situation. You just care about the fact that I have a penis. A penis can't be a victim. You can't be a victim because you have a penis. You must be a predator because you possess a penis. That's the America we live in, folks. That's what you're teaching your little girls. While you're teaching her that that kid who beats her on the playground is doing so because he likes her. You guys are fucking nuts.